Yo, yo, yo. Not sure if you guys can see this yet, but some great news. Facebook is allowing chatbots to come back. So if you guys are excited, let me know about it. And I just want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you guys are thinking, what you guys are going to be doing. And I want to share with you 3 steps that every digital marketer needs to be taking if you're just a digital marketer. So I want to pull up here. I want to see if I can get this shared out in all the right places. Oh, I got my handy dandy phone. And guys, if you guys are tuning in, let me know where you guys are tuning in from, and let me know where you're watching from, because I'm just curious where this global community is going. So Facebook recently announced today at the F8 conference that they are going to be allowing app review to come back, right? And that basically means that chatbots can come back as well. And so if you are using your regular providers, right? If you're using the typical chatbot providers, and software providers and platforms, you should be ready to go and up and running. You should be able to connect new bots already. And so we are back in business. And if you are a marketer, whether you're a chatbot marketer, a digital marketer, or whatever you are, if you are a marketer and someone who's trying to reach a larger audience or reach more people and impact more people, here I want to give you 3 steps that you need to take if you guys are if that's you. So let me get this shared out into lots of different places here, because I think that this is something important for people to know, for you as a marketer, and then just as business owners, right? A lot of people were concerned that this was going away. A lot of people were concerned that this was something that they were going to, they'd invested all this money or they'd done all this stuff, and then Facebook was going to take it away. That's actually the farthest thing from the truth. And the nice thing is that this little embargo, right, this little time period gave Facebook a chance to review what it is that they were doing and how it is that they were doing it. And here's the thing: if you are building your own bot and you're going to be doing it through your own coding, and you're going to be kind of using the Facebook APIs kind of in your own way, then you are going to have to go through some review process, right? You're going to have some review. And so it's going to be just important for businesses to take that extra step if they're going to be doing that, right? So for the average business owner, for the average local business, for the average marketer, nothing is really changing at all. And so I want to give you 3 steps that you guys need to take if you guys are still going to be making money online. First one, okay? If you're a marketer and you provide marketing services, you need to contact all of your old prospects, right? You need to contact every single person and say, hey, bots are back. Do you want them, right? I'll go into more detail on how to do that. Second one is you want to connect all your bots now. Go in and connect them all, get them all connected. And then I would even set up some extra pages and some extra bots so that these things don't, in case it happens again, that you're protected. And then the third thing is I would start learning another software. I would start learning another platform in case one goes down, or in case one gets put on hold, or because Facebook's going to be taking an important, a very measured very measured steps forward in terms of what they're going to be doing with, softwares and stuff like that, and access and data. You just need to make sure that you have a plan B or a plan C even to be able to respond to that. So guys, if you guys are catching this, let me know. I'm going to see here if we've got anyone. Jocelyn, what's going on? Yes, definitely let your clients know. Matt, it's definitely an exciting time. So guys, if you guys are catching this, let me know who's here. If you've made it this far on the replay, definitely let me know how awesome you are. And if you're here live, let me know what you think about it. I'm very, very curious kind of what your thoughts, if this has been something like, had you given up on chatbots, or was this something that you were still waiting for? When I found out the news, I went into my room and I started dancing in front of my wife because I said that the bot pause was over. So give me an emoji of what your guys' emotions are or thoughts are now that this bot pause is over. But here's the thing: if you guys are using the normal platforms, Chatfuel, ManyCrash, a lot of these normal platforms, you should be able to just go in and update them, right? You should just be able to go in and add new pages. Chatfuel, I saw the post, Andrew Demeter, he made the post, and when I tried it, I actually tried it right before he made the post, and it hadn't worked, but he made the post. So they're going to be releasing Chatfuel bots in the next little bit, and with ManyCrash, you can already connect them. So if you are, I know they had actually disconnected a lot of bots, and now if you want to reconnect them, I guess you can. So David's pretty excited. Jocelyn said that her husband looked at her weird because she was screaming. Yes, it's definitely like it was a long awaited time. I want to bring up, let's go ahead and bring up the Facebook the Facebook words. If we have them, I think I have them. Let's see if I can go through. Here we go. So let me bring this bad boy over here so we can actually see from the horse's mouth what Facebook actually said. Okay, is that the right wording, from the horse's mouth? I don't know. It doesn't matter, right? So here we go. Okay, it says investing in the Facebook developer community. Right, realize that as a chatbot marketer, as a chatbot developer, which you should call yourself, right, because they get paid more. If you know how to combine both marketing and developing, is we are now a developer, right? And so you guys can see here they're talking about building APIs that create value, which just allow them to be able to do cool things and give tools, give transparency and control. Definitely building trust with people that use our products. Remember, guys, these are all things that we've talked about already on our lives, right? When we talk about, some of you guys who are in our accelerator program and know, my chatbot tactics, right? I don't talk a lot about tactics here on the lives because that doesn't matter. You can learn all that in the video, right? But we talk about like having unsubscribe buttons, right? Making it really easy for people to get out of your system, out of your chatbot, making it really, really simple for you to have a authentic conversation with your person, and if they don't want it, right, then to not bother them with that stuff. I think that's really, really valuable for people to know. So let's see here. David says just what I needed. Todd, yes, you actually can have new bots that can be created. Absolutely, you can go in and on a lot of your regular platforms, they'll be able to be updated right away, which is exciting. Dan says, let's go. David says, what are the opinions of Chatfuel versus ManyChat? Okay, so let's talk about that, right? And let's talk about the three things. And the third one is actually learning new platforms. So the first one is contacting all your old prospects. So if you guys want to talk about sales and stuff like that, then we can definitely talk about what to do to leverage this to get more sales. And then if you, the second thing is to connect all of your bots. So obviously go in and connect all the bots that you were waiting for. I still need to do this. Literally, I did this live video before I have even taken all of these measures. But this is what you got to do, okay? It's on the list here. It's written down, so it's got to be right. And then the third is learning new platforms. And this is a really important one if you guys are going to be continuing to grow within this community and continue to offer these things to your clients. So I want to talk about, if you guys want to talk about the differences between ManyCrash and Chatfuel, give me likes and loves if that's something that's valuable for you, if that's something that you want to talk about, because I think that's a very, very good question. If you're deciding, or if you're getting into it and you're starting out, or if you're someone who's going to be in this space for a long time. Let's scroll down and let's actually talk about the important part, right? So it says app review is back, right? This is what really, really matters, is app review is back. It says today, right? Today, whoa, let me scroll down a little bit. Today we are reopening our app review process. The process has changed a bit as we now require business verification for apps that need access to specialized APIs or extended login permissions. Apps that ask for basic public profile or additional permissions, such as birthday user friends, are not subject to business verification. So it's curious, I'm curious what these specialized APIs or extended login permissions are. That doesn't play into what we're doing, you know what I mean? So for us, it really shouldn't change a whole lot. And that's why it's great for, the bot community that I was saying this at the beginning, that it was never about the bots, right? They were freaking out about these apps that were doing all these weird, asking for all this weird information when they didn't need it. So let's let's check in here and see what else you guys want to talk about. Jay Daniels says perfect. Jocelyn actually connecting a new bot. Obviously, Christopher is excited. So what David asked was the differences between Chatfuel and ManyCrash. And you know what's interesting is I can only speak from what ManyCrash was like. I don't know, a month or two ago, right? A month and a half ago. Some of the guys you don't know, I was banned from their platform for being, for what I was told, promotional in their Facebook group. That was what I was told from the company. And so I can only speak, you know, full disclosure, I can only speak to what they were like a few months ago. But here's the major differences between ManyCrash and Chatfuel, right? ManyCrash is great for beginners. It's great for people who just are getting started. And it's great for people who want to be able to do basic communication or basic automation within, you know, just communication, right? It's a great communication platform. And it is great at that, right? On the other hand, Chatfuel is a much more powerful, it's a much more robust, it's a much more open-ended platform that, yes, it does take a little bit more to understand at first, but ultimately allows you to be able to offer a higher value to your clients. And it allows you as a service provider to actually charge more because you can do more with your bot. Right? They apparently ManyCrash is opening up their developer APIs, and they're having some tools and stuff. And I think that that's great because that's a step in the right direction. My question is it a little late? And you know, I can only speak, like I said, to what it was like a few months ago because I was banned from the platform. They actually deleted my account. I can't even access the ManyCrash anymore, because I was being promotional in their group. So that's what happened. But I build all of my clients on Chatfuel now. And now what I'm going to be learning, though, now that bots are back up and running, I myself am going to be start to learn these different platforms, to be learning these different ones. You know, one thing that it's not really a platform. It's more like an agent and an add-on more than anything is Dialogflow. And I'm not really sure if you can integrate Dialogflow with ManyCrash, but you can definitely integrate it with Chatfuel. And it makes it really, really easy to be able to turn your chatbot into a virtual assistant that can actually understand natural language processing and actually understand all of the different types of ways in which someone can actually say something, right? And so it doesn't limit your bot to just right now quick replies and you know, buttons, which right now, or as of a few months ago, that was only the only way that you could communicate with people via ManyCrash. So Jocelyn says that she's going to learn Chatfuel. It's great, and you know, like I said, the number 3 tip that I have for marketers right now to do, if you guys are serious about building a business and a lifestyle that you love, is to take advantage right now of this moment where bots are back on. Hey, did you hear the news? And so let's go into these first few steps. Number 1 is contact all old prospects, okay? Every single old prospect, every single person who said no to your chatbot, you now have a reason to follow up with them, right? You can just send them a message and say, hey, did you hear the really important news? And they're just gonna go, what do you mean? And you just go, and then it gives you a chance to respond. Well, Facebook just announced that they opened up their messenger platform again to be able to add new messenger bots and to be able to add new pages. This is like a huge opportunity right now because they just turned it back on, and who knows if they're going to be able to, if they're going to turn it off again. And who knows if the process is going to get any more, right? Like they say right now, nothing's changed. And that's what I want to tell you right now, from the old times that you were building bots to the new times, nothing has really changed. However, what you do want to know and what you do understand is that you can now convey this urgency to your clients and let them know we have a small finite time that we don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know how long Facebook is going to let this kind of wild west period go over. We don't know if in a month or two they're going to decide, this isn't really working. We're going to make sure that all messenger apps get manually reviewed. We're going to make sure that all messenger apps go through a 2 week, 3 week, month vetting process, right? So right now you have a huge opportunity to go in and my second point is to get all of your stuff, all of your bots set up, right? So let's talk even more about this prospecting aspect, right? It's a new way to bring up the conversation, right? It's a new thing. So it's like one goal of sales, right? And especially when you are doing service-based sales, right, and business-based sales, is that there is a level of incapability that you have to convey to your customers in order for them to buy. Let me tell you what that means. You have to make them feel like they can't do it so that they will be willing to pay you. Now, you can't do it in like a dirt crap way or like a dirt bag way. I don't advise that. But what you have to do is to make them realize that they do not have the level of skill. They do not have the level of expertise. And it's not worth it for them to go through and learn all of that and take all the time that it took you to get good at the skill that you're actually now providing, or the service that you're now providing them. So you have to be able to highlight a little bit of their lack of knowledge and like a lack of awareness, and you just you can bring up the whole fact, did you catch the whole thing about blah blah blah? Well, they released they shut down what we were doing for a little bit because of the Senate, but now they released it and now it's open again. And what's great is like blah blah, and like all of those businesses. Think about all of those businesses that were running Facebook ads that they were just boosting posts and then it was going straight to their messenger. How crazy was that, right? There was a ton of businesses that were just my Facebook feed is all filled with them, of just these brands and businesses who just like, oh, let me hit this boost button. And they have no idea that it's actually directing people to send it to their messenger. Well, now all of those people, you can go back and follow up with them and say, hey, Facebook now just allowed you to put in automated responses for these, and I don't like automated. We have to change that, because what happens is that people are like, I don't really want to be automated, right? So I don't like the automated. Like, we have to say that you have to personalize, right? You can personally respond to each of these with a set of, with all the answers that most people have, right? So I think that we just I'm curious what you guys would think would be a good thing to say, because you can't say automated, right? That's not going to work at a mass level. People don't want to necessarily automate this stuff. Let's hop around, okay? If you guys have any questions, I'm very curious. If you guys share an emoji of your thoughts and feelings now that chatbots are back, is it like or is it like your head's exploding, or do you see dollar signs? Because for me, I just see massive opportunity for people who are willing to go out there and hustle. So my number one thing was contact all your old prospects, right? All your old prospects and all your old clients. If you don't have them on retainers, maybe you did a website for them, maybe you did a Facebook ad campaign for them, maybe you did something like that. Well, you can actually reach out to them and say, hey, you know what? It's actually, they just turned it on again. This is a small finite time. I don't know if you've ever thought about this. Did you know about this? Have you thought, have you been looking into this, right? Just starting the conversation. But the thing is that if you do it consistently, you're going to have some success. Let's see here. I want to see if there's any other questions. Let's hop in and see. Steve's rocking and rolling. Ryan says many crash, shots fired. Ryan, it's a funny way to be able, because a lot of people still have questions about them, and I don't know. You can go back and listen to the stories and watch the videos of back when it happened, but I don't have access to them because one day I woke up and the next morning I was not allowed into my mini crash account, and all of my bots had been deleted, and my client bots actually, which was unfortunate. So that's what we call mini crash. That's its own thing. David's excited. Steve's excited. Okay. Second thing. All right. Connect all of your other bots. Okay. Connect all of your other bots and go out and get some extra pages and some extra bots that are helpful because, like I said, I saw a few weeks ago that people were selling demo pages. They were literally selling access to a demo, like a blank page and a bot, like a blank bot that was already attached to it. That is crazy. That's crazy, right? But what that shows me is that just people weren't prepared. People weren't in a place to be able to. They didn't have the resources that they needed. And luckily for me, I just had some extra bots and some extra pages that we had just kind of built and set up just because we had built on different pages before. So it was actually kind of lucky. We built all of our demo bots, at least at the beginning, all on separate pages. And that actually came in handy back, over these last few weeks because it allowed us to build and practice and utilize those bots to be able to show clients and let them test it and things like that. We're like, hey, this is not the page. Obviously, don't worry about the picture or whatever. Like, it's just, it's what we need to test it for. So having just extra pages, extra bots attached and set up is great. Steve says, what's the best way to demo a bot for a potential client? So I would record a video of you running through a flow that you set up that is based specifically the best way, if you can, right? If you don't have a lot of clients or you don't have a massive, machine or all these people that you need to follow up with, well then, if you have the time, right, and you're just sitting around on your ass, like, and I'm not talking about you, Steve. Maybe this is somebody out there who's watching. Maybe this is not you. I'm not talking about you specifically. Maybe it is. But if you have the time, because you don't have anything else going on, right, the reality is that you should create a demo bot and go in. And what I've done specifically early in our process is I would go, okay, hey, I would tell Dan, my partner, I would go, hey, Dan, what's the business? Send me their website and that you're pitching tomorrow. Send me their website and I'll make a demo bot based off of their website. And he would send me their website and he handles the sales. I handle the nerdy stuff. He's the people person. I'm the nerd. Or am I the geek? Who's the smarter one? Are the nerds? No, I think the nerds are the smart ones, right? I'm a nerd. David Osborne says that the geeks are the same things just as nerds, just not smart. But I'm a nerd. Anyways, I would go on their website and I would steal their branding. I would steal their colors. I would literally just take their websites, put it into a button in our chatbot and be like, all right, here you go. And it was so simple, but it was so easy as well. Now you could go out and you could build out elaborate flows. You could build out elaborate things. What I like to do is show kind of that it can collect information. I like to show the conversational aspect of it. So I'll build the flow and then I'll record a video of me going and previewing that flow. That way I have the video in my back pocket and I'm going to show the video first on the sales call because that's more consistent and that's more guaranteed. And then if you're like, oh, can we play with it? It's like, yeah, we can, no worries, right? It's like, but the reason I don't lead in with the demo bot on the sales pitch is because it could screw up, right? And it has. Sorry for the Jets, guys. So that's what I would say, and I would have the demo link in my back pocket. Dan said that moment when he said you're smarter than me. Yes, I definitely am smarter than you, Dan, but you are definitely better with people, right? People like you more than me, and that's okay, right? We just stay in our lanes, okay? Dan is probably a harder worker. Dan is probably more consistent than I am. Dan probably has less of a little wimp in him, and that's why Dan is crushing and had quit his job a month ago and is now I think we closed $7,500 in new business that first month that he wasn't working his 9 to 5, and so I can only imagine where it's going to go. We 5x'd. Here's what Dan helped us do, okay? Dan helped us 5x our agency in one fucking month, right? That's what Dan did. So, yes, Dan, I'm smarter than you, but you 5x'd our business in 30 days, so you can have that. Steven says I was not clear on that demo strategy. You don't show the video until after you show them what? I just show them the video. That's what I do, right? When I'm on the sales call, I show them the video, right? I don't have the link, right? I don't give them the link until afterwards if they request it. But most people won't actually request the link if they see the video. The video is guided, it's curated, you can narrate it along the way, and you're playing the video for the client on the sales call, and you're talking about what's happening. You're talking about what's going on, explaining, oh, did you see that? Do you see how it does this? Do you see how it can collect the customer's information? Do you see how we like to add some personality? Do you see how it gives them options? Do you see how it does that? And they go, oh, yeah, you're amazing. How much do I pay you? Where do I sign, right? So that's what I do. Steve, there is called a reference URL link. And so people can actually opt into a chatbot through a web, like on a website. They can opt in through it through a messenger code. So you can have like a QR code looking thing, or they can actually opt in directly through a link. Let me close this window because we're chatting here. And these planes are just annoying. So they can opt in through a website, they can opt in through a code, they can also opt in through a link, okay? So you can actually send them a link later, right? Like when I'm testing it, like when I'm letting clients test it, I'll send them a link directly, in their messenger and their email, and when they click the link, they'll go directly to the flow. So hopefully that's helpful, Jeff, or excuse me, Steve. Jeff, thanks for hopping on. Greg, what's going on? He asked me about this yesterday. I predicted this. I predicted it. I told Greg it was happening today. We would be in good shape, so don't worry. I seen it. I saw it. I'm just kidding. I heard from the little birdies, the little Tweety birds. So guys, if you guys are excited, let me know what your feeling is with an emoji, okay? Likes and loves on these videos always help because we're trying to build the Millennial Skills, page here. And I figured here's the deal, okay? A lot of people don't know, like, they're like, when do you go live? Like, I never know when you're gonna go live. And it's like, I try and go live every day, like around 11 o'clock. Like I get up whenever my eyes open, okay? I just get up, right? Whenever my dogs, take up enough space on my bed where I have to get up. And then I get through my morning routine, okay, work, make sure my, my businesses are running, right? Make sure that everything is flowing, make sure that everything's going. And then right about this time I hop on. And what was fortunate for me is that about 10:50 something, I was finishing up whatever, and I see my phone blowing up and I see good news. And I'm like, all right, something's happening, right? And people are like, finally. And it's like my accelerator group, our messenger group was just blown. And it was just like boom, 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 boom. And so actually let me share this to them because they asked me to, and I think that it would be valuable as well. So not the template. They're asking me in here for the template. Let me see here. Let me tell them. There is a template in the, oh, no, that's not what they're asking for. My accelerator group gives a lot of templates, but this is not the one. We have templates, but not that specific. Sorry, not the template, but here is. So if you're in my accelerator group, let me know. But there, the thumbnail is a pretty good one. Anyways, I saw it blowing up and looked on, and Facebook, I showed it earlier, but Facebook here, as of their words, it says they are reopening their app review process. The only thing that changes is for businesses that need specialized access to APIs and extended login permissions. So that's really at the software level, and they're gonna have to do some verification to make sure that they're not being super creepy with the info that they collect. Otherwise, everything else is good to go. So Alexander says we're back in the game. And for those of you guys who hopped on late and want some value, I said that the 3 steps, right, that everybody needs to take is the first is to contact all your old prospects. So all the people who are on the edge over the last several weeks, or all the people you didn't close over the last several weeks, or even before that, all right, if you didn't close them and for whatever reason they're not a client, or even if they were a previous client, right, and they're just not paying you anymore, you can now go back and reach out to them and say, hey, they just reopened the opportunity to do this. It's something that's going to be open for a limited time. It is one of the most cost-effective. And literally, I had a client this morning who was messaging me, and they were like, "I want bots," right? They're like, "I know you can get like affordable, cheap leads from lead, like what we were getting them. We got them like fucking, we were crushing the campaign. Like it was actually doing better than our chatbot campaign, ironically." And I told him that, but he's like, "I don't care. I want a chatbot." And I'm like, all right, like, let's do that. He didn't say it in those words, but that's essentially what he was conveying in lots of words. So I think it's really, really valuable for people to be able to know that they can set up bots. So Gracie, what's going on? I'm going to see if you guys have any, obviously if you have any questions, if it's about selling bots, if it's about building bots, if it's about marketing with bots. Guys, I mean, like the nice thing is that I have done it, fortunately done it all, and we can talk about it all. So whatever questions you have, that's the better that makes these videos. Even if you're catching on the replay, okay, I'm making a commitment to come back and answer any questions back on the either in the comments or making specific videos, because you guys are why I do these live videos. Honestly, if nobody was hopping on, I wouldn't keep doing them. Like when we were like last week, we only had like 4 or 5 people on, and I was like, oh, there's no one like me anymore. And I had this like moment of like, do I? And I was like, no, I gotta commit. Like, you know, gotta build it. Stop being a little wimp. And so I appreciate obviously your guys' time and attention, and want to make sure that you guys get the value that you guys are looking for. And that a lot of times comes from somebody being you know, strong is the word, and being stepping up and asking those questions. So don't be afraid to take that you know, take that leap and ask that question. So anyways, here's what I want to talk about for those of you guys who are just hopping on though. The first thing that you should do is you should get to freaking prospecting. Get going, right? Get hustling. Get absolutely, like, you should be like a maniac on fire. Like I told this earlier in the video, but I walked into my bedroom and started dancing, right? I started dancing, and it was that exciting for me, because I knew what this meant for me. I knew this meant for our business. I knew this meant for our clients, right? Maybe even most importantly, which is valuable, right? So those guys who are just hopping on, yes, you guys can connect bots again through your typical through your typical chatbot providers. Many crashes up. Apparently, Chatfuel will be up and running very, very soon. The Chatfuel, you could already build bots, so I imagine that the publishing aspect will be up very, very soon. So you guys should be ready to go. And definitely, you should be back in prospecting. Woo! Hold on, guys. Hold on, I'm screwing up here. Let's do that. Internal speakers and mute that. All right. So, with that being said, guys, this shouldn't change anything for you. This should be huge. And Gracie says she's in, and she's rocking and rolling. Alexander says, is how we put the new rules in place, like disclaimers when customers opt in. So that's a good point, okay? So the nice thing is that earlier there were some updates and some requirements about what was going to be available to people, you know, types of information that was going to be available. And what I know is that I definitely know that Chatfuel is taking steps to be compliant with GDPR, and I know that they are the leading legislation in terms of privacy laws. Maybe not leading, but they are definitely you know, the primary leader right now, or they're at the forefront of it at least. And I know that Chatfuel is making steps to be able to handle all of those things. However, here's what I would encourage you to remember, that there are a few things that need to be compliant. The first thing is that just making sure that they know that they are going to be like opting into something, right? And so all I would make sure to have is set up a keyword and have terms and conditions, right? Or have it when they respond terms, it just sends your privacy policy or whatever it is. And then when they opt in, that they have an option to read it, or they can just continue on. Like if you want to make sure that you are super compliant, like that's at the highest end of it. The second thing is, I know GDPR needs to make sure that it's possible to be able to delete information. So what I would just create, and I know that this is very easy to create in Chatfuel, is just a running list of the attributes and tags that you are collecting, and for them to be able to see it, right? And then for them to also be able to delete that, right? And I think that that's valuable as well. I don't know. I think that in our space, most marketers, like, we appreciate segmenting. We appreciate like data and tracking, because we know that it provides a better experience, because that's at least what the good ones are trying to do, right? However, I don't think that it's something that's going to hinder anyone's business anytime soon. So great question, Alexander. That's what I would say about that as well. Jocelyn says that she loves my video. She was too busy. Hey, and guys, the thing is that I never feel like I hope I don't come off as like a wimp and whining about like, oh, people aren't watching my videos. Like, I think that it can come off that way. And more importantly for me is like, it's kind of an experience that I'm sharing with you, and also as a curiosity, is like, are these things even worth watching, right? Like, we've gotten to 30 minutes here, and for some reason people are still on. So I don't know, everyone hasn't left. Like, I figured if there were 10 to 15 people standing around me listening to me talk right now, I'd probably be like, oh shit, I probably gotta talk to these people. There's like 15 people, right? And so obviously I would love for the number to be greater, but that's why we're doing it here on this on the Millennial Skills page, because my personal profile got the Facebook slap, and I knew it was going to happen with Facebook creators, and I guess I should have anticipated it, and it already happened. And so we're going to build up this page, and you guys can expect a ton more of stuff to be able to build your agency as well. So second thing is connect more demo bots, right? Connect more demo bots. Go out and just create extra pages, right? Just to have, right? I would just make sure that you have those on deck, so that in case this happens again, that you are good. And then the last thing is to learn new platforms, right? Learn new platforms. And I think that that's really, really important for people who are going to be in the space long term. And especially if you are going to be the one building the bots, right? I think that obviously for myself as a trainer and a teacher of this stuff, I need to be learning it. So I will be doing that. But I think that you as an individual need to be learning that stuff as well, so that you can improve, right? And be ready for situations like this. And also so you can be able to offer your clients a different type of service, right? And offer your clients a different type of a higher level of return. All right, we hit that hour mark. I love it. Bill says it's quality, not quantity, dude. And I totally appreciate that, right? And I think that that's super important, right? But I also understand that for me, Facebook was the platform in which I was getting my message out there. And the thing about Facebook is that the message is so ephemeral. And so for sure it's quality over quantity, but if you don't deliver a good message and you don't do it consistently enough, at least on Facebook, right? Specifically on Facebook, with personal profiles, at least in my experience, was that you did not get as good of an engagement. However, when you were consistent enough, right? And I guess the challenge is like me trying to reveal to you guys this kind of, this thought process, both so you can take it as what it is, but I know this video is going to be up here forever. So it would be cool for, my little guy to come back and watch the story of how this empire was built. But also we're pivoting here, and a big reason is because for me, I noticed, right, Bill, to kind of answer your question, that for a while I was getting 30 people live on my live videos every day, and we were cracking. We had hit 50,000 views consistently for the last 2 months, right? We had done over 120,000 views over the previous 2 months, and then to go from 50,000, right, to down to like 10 to 15,000 views in a month, it made me like question. I was like, did I get that bad that quickly, or did something change algorithmically? And naturally, I mean, maybe it's just me being whatever and saying that I me being naive or pompous or whatever, but I don't think I got that much worse that quickly. What I think really happened is that the algorithm changed, and so I look at it, and yeah, we're down to now 28,000 views throughout the month. We used to get on average about 5,000 views a day. Now we're getting about 1,000, and that's just like, so it's just interesting, right? And so we're constantly trying to learn, and it's like I also am not going to continue to beat my head against something that isn't working. So just insight into what's going on a little bit as well. So let's see here. Donna says she's been off for a while, but what a great day to get back on. Yes, it is. Audric says I'm thinking about putting terms on the start menu. I think that it's definitely it's great to have like a little button. Here's what I would encourage you not to do. I would not encourage you to make it like really, really annoying for people to read your terms. Think about how people subscribe to terms on apps. Think about how people subscribe to terms on software. They're like, hey, if you want to read it, it's here. If you don't, click this button and let's move on with this shit. Like most people are going to be like, oh, I appreciate you telling me that those privacy policies right there. And it's great that it would be ideal to have it be easily available if I ever wanted to come back and look. But the reality is that most people aren't going to care about reading it. Yes, they're going to want to know that you have it, but most people don't even read it, right? Like Apple makes you sign a user agreement like every freaking week, and nobody ever reads that shit. So that's what I would say about that stuff as well. James, this is real life. It's happening as well. Bill says that the problem is that Facebook controls everything. That's really only if you Facebook only controls everything if you allow them to, right? So okay, like let's take a little look. What are we talking about here, right? We're talking about like me whining, like, oh, my views are going down, and that for a moment like happened, and then I was like, okay, well, what are we gonna do about it? And so instead I was like, all right, Cherry, here's the deal. Cherry's my assistant, right? I'm like, all right, so Facebook it was great, and we had an amazing run, and it's awesome, but it can't be our only thing moving forward, right? And so what do we start doing? Now we have over 320 videos on YouTube. And here's the thing, right now there's not a lot of like views on them, right? There's just like, fucking A. There's like some of them that have 8 views on it. But that's not gonna stop me, right? Because there was times where there literally like people I had 8 views on this, right? And I'm going to the same thing that made me great on Facebook, right? Was consistency. At least I'm gonna start with that on YouTube. I'm just gonna get my library just up there, right? Because what I realized is that I was like, that's weird. Why does that have only 8 views? Well, it doesn't have a description. No tags are on there. Well, okay. Here's, and then I'm like, all right, we got to start, putting more tags on. And it's a learning process as opposed to like just a whining and being like, oh, boo, boo. Like, it's like this Eeyore kind of mentality of like, oh my God, fucking woe is me. It's about adjusting. And so similarly, a lot of people ask, let's go back, and like a lot of people ask, I'm just going to talk here because I'm going to keep inviting people. Guys, if this is valuable, the likes, the loves, the shares, those always help. And then every comment helps as well. So I've been asking people, how do you feel about the embargo being lifted and the fact that the bot ban is over? And give me an emoji that kind of gives me your thought process. But I want to share with you just some things that helped our agency since the bot ban happened. We had so many clients who were like waiting to be like, oh, like our clients were waiting for this day just as much as we were, because we had signed them and we started building with them and we started working with them, because we knew that like this thing wasn't going to be forever. So it wasn't like we shut down our business. We didn't stop prospecting. In fact, since the embargo happened, we doubled down on it, right? And so we have clients who now were like, today, this morning, before the bot ban was lifted, before I saw that the news was like, what's going on? I want bots. Like, you're getting me lots of leads, but I don't care. I want bot leads. And it's like, so this came at perfect timing. And for us, what happened is that we stayed consistent in our prospecting. And I've talked a lot about building a real business, right? Like a little bit earlier, we were talking about, my views going down and like all this kind of like boohoo for me, right? But then what the important thing was like, Bill said it's quality over quantity. And although I agree, you can't win without quantity first. So although it is quality over quantity, I think it's quantity before quality. Yeah, and I would challenge anybody who would fucking disagree with me. And if you disagree with me, let me know. If you agree with me, give me some likes and loves. But here's the reason why. It's the power of 10, right? If you are a salesperson, okay, about 1 in 10 people, if you're decent, depending on what you're selling, right? About 1 in 10, especially in like B2B, well, 1 in 10 will probably buy, right? About 1 in 100 cold prospects will even talk to you, okay? So what you've got to realize is that's, yes, quality over quantity for sure. But if you're not hitting the bare amount of quantity, it doesn't even matter how good your stuff is, right? And that's kind of the problem that a lot of creatives have. Excuse me. I don't know what I have. I don't know if it's panda hair. I don't know. A lot of creatives have this thing where they think that their art and their work is going to kind of get them going, like it's going to carry them. And although there are some people, although there are some people, I think it's my dog actually, although there are some people who are good enough to be able to stand alone on their talent, that number is very, very limited compared to the amount of people who can be very, very successful through hard work and grit that allows them to